In today's video, I am going to talk about something a little bit different that's really in my niche still because I am a Christian content creator, and if you've watched my videos, you know that. But today I'm not going to do the normal YouTube growth and the normal technology or start your own YouTube channel skills type of thing. Today, I really wanted to share with you something that the Lord gave me. And it was the most amazing dream that I think I've ever had. And I wanted to share that with you. And I really feel like that this is for somebody, if not for several people. And I don't know, but I feel like this dream, I've got to share it with you because it was so amazing. And if it can just touch, like I said, one person, then this is what this video is for. So if you've clicked onto this video and you're really curious and you're not sure, what this is about, just listen to what the Lord has shared through my dream. I dreamed that I was standing out on a shore that was like the beach somewhere, and it was beautiful. Like the sands were just so soft and beautiful. The ocean was just beautiful. I love the beach. And there was probably about 15 to 20 people, if I had to guess, that were standing around me. And they ranged in age from about 12 years old and up. And I feel like after having the dream, when I looked at the age of 12, I thought, why not little children? But there is an age of accountability, I believe, and that means that children are innocent up until a certain age. And in the Jewish culture, I know that at age 13, I believe it is when the boys have like their bar mitzvahs and they are actually accounted to be a young man. So I just, I feel like that was the reason why their children were no younger than 12. And there was only a couple of children. And so we were standing there and people were talking. I didn't know anybody, like no family. There was nobody that I knew. And I looked up and it was like the heavens just opened up. And it was almost like looking like a portal or something, like you would see on a movie, how, these portals open up, it's kind of rounded, kind of a semicircular shape that I could see with these huge clouds and this beautiful sunshine that was shining behind the clouds. And then there was just like this leveled platform, like, I don't know how to explain it, like it was a level of heaven. The ground I couldn't see because it was so far up, but there was ground there, because all of a sudden as I'm looking, I see this person that's about like 2-3 inches high, that from my distance, I'm so far away, walking from the right side of my vision over towards the left, and had a pretty brisk pace. He wasn't walking slowly, and it looked to be male. And so I'm thinking in my mind, is this Jesus? And so I'm thinking about the rapture, I'm thinking, is the rapture about to take place? And so he walks briskly and he gets about halfway over, this area that I'm looking at. And he looks down, he sees me looking at him, and it's like I knew he saw me, and he just waved. He just held his hand up, he waved, and he kept on going. And so I was just so overjoyed. I was so excited. I was like, oh my gosh, I think I just saw Jesus. And so then he goes out of my field of vision, and then this other person comes and they just step off that ledge there. They just step off, and it's almost like they were on a gigantic slide or something, because just floated down like so smoothly and so easily. And the closer she got, she looked female. And if you know anything about, angels, which I don't know a lot, I don't claim to know a lot about angels. I just know from things that I've read in the Bible, and angels have neither male nor female. But yet I know that Gabriel and Michael have male names, and they were warring angels. And I know that the Bible talks about, beware of angels that you attend unaware. Like, be aware that there are people that look like real people or humans, but yet they could be angels unaware. And so you always have to be careful of that. And so I saw her coming down, and she had long brown hair. She was beautiful. Like, she was so pretty. And she didn't have wings. And so the cherubim I know have wings, and the seraphim have wings, but regular angels I don't think generally have wings. And so again, if I'm wrong, somebody I'm sure will correct me. But anyway, she was so beautiful, and she was coming down. And as she got about 3/4 of the way down, the people around me started talking about worshiping angels. And then I got really confused, and I'm like, okay, we're not worshiping angels here. I don't believe in angel worship. And there are people, I guess, that believe in that. And when she actually heard the conversations that were taking place, and she started to go back up. And I was like, oh no, in my mind, I was like, no, come back. I know you're a messenger. What is your message? I know you have a message. And so the next thing that I know, I look, and she's to my left, and she's talking with a young child, about a 12-year-old child. And they're having a good conversation because they're talking, she's smiling. And so I look back up, and then I see, for this time, he's much bigger. Like, he's at least 6 feet tall, I can tell. And I can see him in his white robe and his blue sash. And I don't know if that's because I've had preconceived ideas of what he looks like. I've seen pictures. I watched The Chosen. I love that movie series. And if you've not seen it, I really advise you to watch it. It's wonderful. It really depicts the humanity of Jesus. Yet he's man, but yet he's God. And when he came to earth. And so it's just wonderful. I really would recommend you watch it. But so I saw him, and he's looking, and he's waiting. I can tell that he's waiting to come, to come down. And so I look over at the angel, and I couldn't, I didn't want to interrupt, but yet I couldn't wait. I couldn't wait to ask her. I had to ask her to verify. And I said, hey. And she didn't look. And I went, hey. And she still didn't look at me. And I was like, oh. And I said, hey. And she looked, and she turned, and she looked at me. And I said, is that Jesus? Is that Jesus? And she just smiled, and she goes, yes, that's him. And I was just like, oh, this is so wonderful. Like, he is so beautiful. And like, he's waiting. I can tell he's waiting. And so I asked her, I said, is he coming? Is he coming now? And she looked at me, and she smiled, and she said, he's coming soon. And I said, oh, and it was like a sigh of relief that I felt that he's coming soon. And I was like, and I told her, I said, he needs to come soon. He really needs to come soon. And she looked at me with a different look this time. And it was sadness over her face. And it was almost a look of, I don't know how to say, not terror, but then again, horror. Yeah, maybe so. Maybe terror. And she said, yes, he needs to come. And I knew in that moment that he wants to come. And he's waiting on the Father to turn to him and say, go get your bride, which is the church. We're living in the church age. And we're living in that age of grace. And so I know he wants to come, but yet the Lord told me in that moment, when she had that look of sadness, that look of terror, that there are too many people that are not ready. There are too many people that are playing church, or they're not saved, or maybe they did get saved at one point and then they've turned away and they've lost their love for the Lord, or they're living their own life because he's delayed his coming. The Bible tells us in Matthew. So in the book of Matthew chapter 24, I want to read this to you because I want you to hear, it's called the Olivet Discourse, but concerning that day and hour no one knows, not even the angels of heaven, nor the Son, but the Father only. For as were the days of Noah, so will the coming of the Son of Man. For as in those days before the flood, they were eating and they were drinking, marrying and given in marriage, until the day that Noah entered the ark. And they were unaware until the flood came and swept them all away. So will be the coming of the Son of Man. And then 2 men will be in the field, one will be taken, one will be left. The 2 women will be grinding at the mill, one will be taken, one will be left. Therefore stay awake, for you do not know on what day the Lord is coming. But know this, that if the master of the house had known in what part of the night the thief was coming, he would have stayed awake and would not have let his house been broken into. Therefore you also must be ready, for the Son of Man is coming at an hour that you do not expect. Who then is the wise and faithful servant whom his master has set over his household to give them their food at their proper time? Blessed is that servant whom his master will find so doing when he comes. Truly I say to you, he will set him over all his possessions. But if that wicked servant says to himself, my master is delayed, and begins to beat his fellow servants and eats and drinks with the drunkards, the master of that servant will come on the day when he does not expect him, and at an hour he does not know, and will cut him in pieces and put him in with the hypocrites. In that place there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. So I'm telling you that the time is short, and I don't know who this video is for. I feel like it's probably for multiple people, but if it's only for one person, if only one person watches this and you are somehow changed in a way, and somehow the Lord is speaking to you, he is calling to you, because it says that he left the 99 to go get the one. Like, you can be the only person that he would have come and died for. He came and died for the whole world, but if it was just one person, he would have done it for that one person. And so if you're the one person watching this video and there are things that maybe you've been going through, I don't know what your situation is. I just want you to know that I want to pray for you. I want you to leave down in the comment whatever your prayer request is. I would love to hear from you. And I just want you to know that I love you, Jesus loves you, and I know that this is not what I normally put out, but I hope and pray that this has blessed you in some way to know that he is coming soon.